Let's get busy.
Are you up to doing this?
Yeah, why do you keep asking that? That makes me
Yeah,
scared.
no, I'm just.
I'm like ADHD.
Okay.
But I'm up to it.
All right, let's do this.
All right.
Rebecca. Do you go by Rebecca?
Yes.
Pronounce your last name.
Aldammad.
That's how I would have said it. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. You have very pretty hair color, by the way.
Oh, well, thank you.
Is again, when I do my podcasts, and I call it research, even though I find these people on social media, in this case, Facebook. We're Facebook friends, whatever that means these days. But we have like 154 mutual friends. Mm-hmm. And what got my attention with you, besides your pretty hair, is your art. That's one of the things you're into. And I'm just following your Facebook art page. A lot of cool images, very creative. So I want to talk about that. You also have a website too, right?
Yes.
Okay. And talk about stuff that's on your mind.
Okay.
Things maybe trending. Get a little history with you. Born and raised here, Louisville?
Born and raised across the river.
Okay. We won't hold that against you.
Yeah.
Like Indiana, Jeffersonville?
Yeah, Indiana.
Or Jeffersonville, New Orleans? Okay.
I moved here when I was, I think, a junior in high school.
So to Louisville?
Yes.
Okay. Junior high school, what high school did you go to?
I actually finished up in my school there.
Okay.
And then I did the rest from home.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's how my youngest is rolling.
Yeah.
So Louisville, how long have you been in Louisville? There was another stop after Louisville.
Yeah, so when I was probably, I think I was about 20, I moved to San Diego for a bit. And then...
You're still in your 20s. Clearly, right?
I might be a little... well, yeah.
All right. So you good? You do look young. So you go out to San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
On a whim?
I went, and then I decided to move there 3 weeks later. So I didn't really have anything here at the time. Like I lost my job, lost a lot of things, and so. So
going to San Diego probably was like a breath of fresh air,
yes,
just to
exactly.
get a new vibe.
Mm-hmm.
But there was also a catch in going out there, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I also met someone out there, and we seem to be working on similar goals in our lives as far as like just working towards being, I don't know, better people, I guess, or like finding our ways.
Right.
So
like maybe a kindred spirit kind of thing?
Yes, exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
Your age? Same about your age? Or?
Close enough, a little bit older.
Okay. But definitely things, like-minded things. You're sharing.
Yes,
okay.
exactly. Like we went to meditation gardens. There were certain things about it that just made me feel like relieved compared to like it was very great here when I left. So when I went there, it felt like life was happening, and then coming back, it was just so like I had nothing to look forward to almost. You know what I mean? So it's like.
Oh, when you're saying your initial visit.
Yeah, when I initially visited.
And then initially went to San Diego, came back here.
And I just remember the plane landing was so great, and like that everything like because it was winter here, right. So in the time difference was that too. I mean, it plays a big part. I know that now,
but San Diego, it's a big difference between San Diego and Louisville, just size-wise, opportunity-wise, people-wise. So this person, when you went to San Diego, did you already know him, and that's why you went there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we actually met in Chicago. So we met briefly in Chicago, and for some reason
Okay.
we exchanged numbers. But it just seemed like we were aligned.
He
So-
liked the hair, the color of your hair as well, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
probably. No, I mean, I was not having any. It was around the time when, like, the economy was very down, anyways. So I was applying for jobs, getting turned down left and right. Like, I was just trying everything that I could and not able to, like,
Find it here.
yeah. And
So-
even interviews that I would go on, it's like turned down left, right. You know, every single interview, it's like, I don't know what to do. You know, I can't afford to live here.
Right. So you go out to San Diego, or go back at this point, and with, I guess the goal there in going back is that you're gonna move there, as in move and live there, and you're gonna maybe find who you are at this point in your life there. What did you find?
So I found that I went on 3 interviews and got 2 out of 3 jobs that paid me more than almost double than what I'd been paid here, which was interesting to me because I'd probably gone on like 15 interviews and not got a job offer.
Okay. So clearly, right away, from a job career perspective, there's positives there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I wanted to kind of find myself, but also to become stable again. Not that I really had ever been stable before because I was so young that. But I needed. I had been on my own for so long. I mean, well. At the time, it felt like forever, but I was on my own, so I needed to find a sense of stability. And for me, that came with like finding a job and getting paid a wage that was livable, which I couldn't get here.
Right.
Although it was strange when I got my tax return from there. It was during like the crisis, so I got an IOU. And it was like, do not cash this IOU until, like, I don't know, give you a certain amount of time that you could do.
I've heard of that, but I never knew someone who actually got one.
Yeah, I did. I was
Wow.
like, an IOU, really?
I mean, that kind of tells you where we're at
Yeah.
in our economy. Wow.
Yeah. So, but I worked 2 jobs when I was there.
Give me what's the time frame here, the year or whatever.
I think it was like 2009.
Okay.
So
about 10 years ago then.
Yeah.
Does that sound about right? Okay. So you're there how long?
I mean, I was there off and on. Like I became a resident. So I was kind of off and on there and undecided about. Like I was there solidly, and then I get back. But I guess I finally gave up my residency there and became a resident here, which was my first time because before that I was in Indiana, I was in California, then here, and that would have been probably maybe like a couple of years later, and then I got my Kentucky residency.
Gotcha. And you've been here ever since.
So
in coming back home, or if you will, this into the world for you, what did you get into here?
well, actually,
Was there another
so
guy?
I ended up dating and maybe with someone who's a photographer, and we did our own projects together. I guess I learned about photography a lot just by watching.
So the whole art thing really kind of fell into place once you came back here.
Actually, I wasn't doing my own. I was mainly
Or working with someone at that point.
yeah,
Okay.
and I was mainly like saying like, whoa, oh, what if we like lightened this or did this, or for photography, or kind of like putting my thoughts into
Isn't
it.
it kind of weird how my take is that everyone has a talent, But most of us, the reality is, most of us never know what that talent is.
Right.
And by chance, we fall into situations where, in the case in point, you're with someone, he's doing something that probably, I don't know, did you, prior to this, did you have this sense that you had this vision, or you could see things, or you feel like...
I had always, like, when I was in high school, I spent my free time in the art wing.
Okay.
So that's where I always was, that's what I
Right.
was drawn to.
Okay.
But I didn't pursue anything.
Right. Probably because just by opportunity, maybe something never really panned out for you.
Yeah, I mean, I had my art teacher write a recommendation for me to go to a different school, but it was a private school.
Right.
But I tried a lot to get into that, but it didn't work out. So then I just kind of like forgot about it, and I got into it whenever I was living with someone that was a photographer, and they shut me a lot, you know. But I would also have ideas as well, and we kind of lived, you know, almost, I would say, day to day. To be honest, like the starving artist type of life. But during that process, like, eventually we had a MacBook, and then I got into like photo editing, and then I'm like, I kind of want to try taking my own photos, you know, and it was just this sort of, I don't know. I think sometimes being inspiration for art is almost equally as important. I mean, you know, it's in that case, like, I don't know how to explain it, but it was sort of, you have to see things a certain way in that way as well. Like,
Yeah, my thing is that when it comes to artists, photographers, anybody in that visual industry, the one question is that I tend to ask is, how do you see things? And the truth is, you just see it differently. You see it differently than me.
yeah,
And because we can both look at the same thing,
right.
but you can take, I mean, yeah, the way you're seeing it and how you could add to it and bring it to life, totally different than I could.
Exactly, yeah.
And that is a gift. That's a talent. And so you're at this point, you're helping helping him with his work, and I guess you're starting to pick up that, you know, I think I know what I'm saying and doing here, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was his main subject for a couple of years, but at the same time, I also had my thoughts about things, like, oh, I like, even though, like, I like natural light, you know, or I like this, or I like that, and so I also started working with other photographers, just doing the modeling type thing, or like people are like, hey, would you like to do a test with me? And like, oh yeah, sure, because I also picked up from that, you know, or what other things, different techniques and different ways of seeing things, even though I was the subject and not the creator necessarily. It was,
But you were absorbing it.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I was watching as everything was in that, and how different each person sees things, which is interesting, because you can be photographed by someone that sees you completely different than someone else,
Right.
and it's like night and day.
I'm curious, did a lot of those times when you're being photographed, the way they saw you, did it line up the way you did it too? Or was there conflict, or did you know, when they put out a product, or and you're looking at it like,
There was,
you should have added more light, you know,
or I'm like, why did you choose this? I look crazy in this photo, or why not this one? I look wonderful.
But that's a great question. You asked why.
I was thinking to myself, like, what actually appealed in this photo of me that, you know, working with different photographers was like seeing things through their eyes, but it was oftentimes it was not what I would see, which is part of what led me to do my own.
To get on the
type
other
of
side
stuff.
of the camera.
Yeah. And
Well,
that was
how long? I didn't know. I knew you did some modeling, but how? I mean, per se, how you were modeling like a lot? I mean, what was it?
I mean, it wasn't like anything like, you know, famous or anything. It was kind of a lot of, you know, our local brands,
Yeah.
our local photographers, and some of them have gone on to like, you know, be successful in their field. But I was always up for like participating in art
Right.
as well as like now I like to participate and I like to create.
Gotcha.
So it was a few years of doing that.
But that, at the same time too, you were learning. That was on the job experience too.
Yeah.
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 And understanding their mindset, and then just transforming it or turning it into how your thought process.
Right.
So at this point, you're like, I can get on the other side of the camera.
However, I at the time did not have money to get a camera. So I remember I got my first iPhone. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can take pictures of anything.
Right.
I was like taking pictures of a salt shaker.
Do you realize how much of a game how much of a game
Yeah.
changer,
It's
the
crazy.
phone, yeah.
And it was like I had my iPhone. There was a salt shaker, and the sunlight hit it, and then there was like a prism that came out, and I was like, wow, this is so cool. Like I can take pictures of anything that I want now. But I didn't get an official camera until later, and
But with the iPhone technology, or the how good of the camera now is on an
I
iPhone.
know.
The vision, the end product, maybe for someone like me, you could have told me, oh, this is a $4,000 camera I use, and I would have said, oh, I would have bought
No,
it. Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah.
I have a camera now. I sold a couple of my lenses though when I needed money. So I only have one lens. I have two lenses. One that took me 6 months to pay off. I just finished paying it off. But I do have the camera, but I don't use it as often.
Then the phone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy because I'm like, do I want to pack this camera? and
Like
the
I said,
lenses,
it's a game changer between that kind of technology and, think about it, YouTube. People would have had to go to school for a lot of things. Now you can go to
Right.
YouTube and
Exactly.
educate yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got friends who have learned how to play guitar, learned photography, film, all from watching tutorials on YouTube.
Exactly.
Work on cars. I mean, it's crazy.
I know. I've honestly very rarely used YouTube for that purpose, but I've had so many people recommend it to me, for anything. They're like, oh, just go on YouTube. Go on
Exactly.
YouTube. If you want to learn how to paint something particular, go on YouTube. YouTube. But
Start at Google, how to, and then Google will
it shows
tell you.
up.
I mean,
shows up
it's,
everything. There's how to for everything.
when I was growing up, I didn't have that.
Yeah.
I didn't have internet. I'm dating myself here. No, we had to go up, play outside. There was no such thing as social media. Our social media required us to ride our bikes to our friend's house and
Right.
stuff
I
like
mean,
that.
I was at the end of that, but I also didn't have a TV growing up, which everyone else did, because MTV, all that stuff. I never watched TV when I was growing up.
Well, MTV started in the early '80s.
Oh, well then it was way later.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're not even born in the '80s.
I was born in the late 80s.
Okay, all right, maybe all right. I'll give you that, late '80s, but not early '80s for sure.
No.
Yeah. So yeah, late '80s. You pushing the 3.0? Really? I'm giving you props. If you don't want to talk about the age, the number, but you definitely look younger.
Yeah, it's kind of awkward, but because
Why is it awkward? Awkward that I brought it up?
No,
or-
no. In general, because people usually say that. Or
You do. You
that I'm,
look
19.
young. Yes. You probably are
I'm
getting
not a
fucking carded every
teenager.
time. Did they card you when you walked
They
in
didn't
here?
card me here, but they carded me everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere. And And sometimes I'll be with people that are younger than me. I'm like,
But you know, I guess
I don't know.
Look, you're gonna age well. It looks like when you're 40, you're gonna look 25. When you're 50, you're gonna look 30. Whatever. But
know,
hey,
it's
it could be
strange.
worse. Life could be worse. All right, so the camera's in your hand. You're in control. What is your what is the plan to take over the world at this point?
with the actual camera.
Yeah, anything. Because the camera has also led to, and I pull this up and see if you can see this. This is I'm on your website. This is your work. I'm not. This is the first time I'm going to your website. I'm looking at your gallery, so I'm floored. It is. How would you describe this? How would you describe this
Okay.
type of art?
Well, these are a weird mix because the eyes, I did that as a sketch.
Well, that's. But see, I'm glad you said the word weird. In my head, it's different.
Yeah.
So the fact you said weird, I'll go with weird. It is a weird look, but it's a good weird to me.
So the eyes that was on the opening page, that was a sketch because I got so mad. I was doing an illustration.
You get mad? We wouldn't like you when you're angry.
I was frustrated. I was doing a series of illustrations. It was for USA Today back in October.
Mm-hmm.
And it was all about one particular man, I should say, or boy at the time. I don't know. I think he was like 20.
Have you not let go of your
What?
past relationship?
No, this was USA Today that I
Oh.
was getting a commission for.
Oh, gotcha. Totally misunderstood.
So I had to use him as a subject.
So you were using someone from your past.
No, not from my past. USA Today commissioned me
Oh,
to do
I
illustrations.
I see. Gotcha. All right.
Yeah, so I had to do a story on a guy. Although he could have been in my past. I mean, he was just equally maybe.
All right,
Okay,
fair
but
enough.
anyways,
Got it.
he wasn't in my particular past.
All right.
Never met him. But I had to do illustrations. There's a series of 6 of them. But after a while, that one came out, the one with the eyes, because
It's cool.
I just did that in 10 minutes. I was like, I'm so sick
Can
and
I
tired.
can't. This is free. I can't pause this, can I?
I don't know, but you can maybe click on gallery.
All right, let's see. Come on.
Oh, archive? No.
Go ahead. But go ahead. Continue.
Yeah, I think if you click on gallery, it should show you, or archive. If that doesn't work, you can try art. Yeah. But anyway, so I just got so frustrated of doing this man's particular character, not character, he's a real life person, it was a news story. But I got so frustrated from doing his face so often, so much, driving myself crazy over it, that I just took a piece of paper and I was like, I started sketching, like going crazy. I was like, here's his eyes. Well, it wasn't used, but it got the anger out. Yeah, those are just
How would you describe this art? I'm clicking gallery. It's not
try the archive. Yeah,
okay.
because
Content. The artist.
I tried messing with the site. I don't know anything about it, so I might have messed things up.
Did you build this?
No, but I did have access to it the other day, and I was trying
You
to.
pressed the wrong button.
I probably did, honestly.
Let's see. Unless I'm losing some connection here. Oh, hold on. It might be me. I'm having. Oh, wait a minute. It could be me. Let's see. No internet secure. What's going on there? Keep talking because I think it might be.
Okay, so archives are here. These are sold pieces. And then the gallery is unsold. I think this is the one you were talking about.
Mm-hmm. Describe that. Give me. It's the 3. Is it females? Is that what I'm looking at?
Pretty much,
And
yeah.
one is you can see the skeleton. Yeah. All right.
Okay, so this isn't actually a huge painting. I was actually thinking about a particular moment
Mm-hmm.
that I had, and then it sort of hit me because often when I paint, I don't know what is going to appear. You know, I start painting, or I could think of a memory, and I have no idea how it's going to come out, or I might not think of anything. That was part of the way that I began making my own art, which I can tell you about that later. But
Tell me now.
about how I began to do my
Mm-hmm.
own. Okay, so about I would say in January of 2018, I I was sitting by myself in an apartment in my old apartment and going through this closet that I had. There was a box of old paintings, and I felt like I felt super lonely and just like I don't want to text anyone right now. Like even if I text them, I'm not gonna get a response that's fulfilling to me right now. You know what I mean? Or
Mm-hmm.
like that will tell me anything. Like I feel lonely. I want to be alone, but I don't want to watch a show because that will make me feel worse. So I went through my old stuff that I had never unpacked. Found some canvases that I began to I found some like crispy, dried up old paint. I started painting on them, and I was like, I'm gonna try something new that I've never tried before because I'd never put any art out for the public to see or like for anyone to see at all because I was so worried about it being perfect, you know, and I was so worried.
But you. I get that, but feedback, constructive feedback is okay too, right?
And it totally is now. But
Yeah.
I was such a,
Oh, at that point.
but at that point,
Gotcha.
because I was
Okay.
so perfectionist, I couldn't even allow constructive feedback because
Yeah.
I was the one being my worst critic.
But did you have anybody close to you that you would
Oh,
say?
they would say like, "Oh, this is good," but like, it didn't feel right, and it's because I
Did
was
it feel
painting
genuine?
with this filter of like somebody
Mm-hmm.
else. So in January of 2018, I just said to myself like, I'm going to paint whatever comes out,
Right.
and I'm not going to judge it. And it was the first time that I did not allow myself to judge anything. Before that, I was judging everything left and right. So you could say it's good, but I wouldn't
You're
hear it.
your worst critic, aren't you?
Exactly. Yeah. So, but I for some reason after that first night of doing that and saying like I'm not going to say this is good or this is bad. I'm just going to like let whatever it is come out. No matter what it is, I'll put it aside and I'm not going to. There's no thought. I'm not going to think anything about
Right.
it. Like it needs to be this. It needs to be that. It is what it is, and that's all. And so I kept doing that repeatedly, night after night. Instead of like that became like my comfort. Like I looked forward to that every night.
Right.
Like I would like put on my music, and then I like invested in a few paintbrushes. Because like I said, I had just nothing but like crispy dried stuff, and then I got some canvases, and I just kept doing that night after night, and it was like peace, like that, like gave me a sense of peace.
Very
And
therapeutic.
it was so therapeutic, and it was just like
I'm
I
jealous.
don't. No,
I'm
yeah.
jealous that that would be to me, and I'm sorry, I'm cutting you off here. My moments where I'm just stressed. And a lot of me is I tune the world out and put music on. But to be able to have a skill where I could just piece of paper, canvas, and just in a sense almost purge my thoughts onto that would
Without
be-
even thinking.
without even
Yeah.
thinking. You just can't. It's yeah. So,
My
good.
whole goal was like, don't think perfectly because
Right.
you're always thinking, always stressed out, always just don't think, just put anything. Anything is fine. And I kept doing that night after night, and I got to the point where like I started to talk about it because it was obviously an important part of my life. It was what I looked forward to every night, and eventually one day, like after a few months of doing this, non-judging myself, like I was fragile at the beginning. I was like, don't tell me if you think it's good, don't tell me if you think it's bad, don't tell me anything at all. I was like, just because like I want it to exist and that's it. And so one of my friends saw it and they were like, how much would you sell this for? I was like, sell? what? You know, and
that
then,
had never
no.
came across.
They were
Do you
like,
have a manager?
no.
Who manages your work? You, I'm a guess. But who goes and puts this out there for potential sale? You or
I mean, me. Like, I mean, I don't.
I'm telling you what, I'm going through here and I'm fucking blown away. I mean, there is something that is just so fucking different about your work, and
That was actually my very first one that came out, and I was
what,
like, I'm not
what
going
am
to
I
judge.
seeing here?
This is what I don't know. This one I.
Oh, you
did-
don't even know.
This one I don't know. I mean, I.
What do you
see-
think this is right here?
To me, it's like a person.
Exactly, but I don't see it. I don't see a head, right? Unless I don't. Because
Unless
this is a
his
person
head is
here.
tilted down, and those are
It's-
his red
yeah.
eyes.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
But that was with the crispy dried up paint, and that was when I was just. I took whatever I had at hand and did stuff.
Well, I'm going to blow this artwork up. I am like, good God, this is no. When I say blow it out, I'm just put it out there. I've got to share this shit. What is this?
That was one of the earlier ones also that I didn't allow myself to analyze. But I kind of got with that one, almost like she's speaking to a crowd that's not listening.
Because I can see their heads are.
Everyone
kinda,
is
yeah,
busy.
you're
Like,
busy,
this person's
yeah.
looking down. They're
That
trying
head,
to,
yeah.
So it gave me like I don't think anyone in that crowd was paying attention to her, and I didn't have any thoughts when I made that. So it's literally like stream of conscious art.
We're going to talk after this podcast because I'm. We're going to just talk after the podcast.
Okay. Yeah, but I mean, if you go to the archives, you can see the ones that are sold, and those are the one. Like, I sold a first one, and then I sold a second.
Oh, these are all sold. So
Yeah.
your archives are okay.
I
So
say every one of those are sold.
amazing. I love that.
But that was when I made a trip to the Redwoods, so that was inspired by my own memory. Like later,
That's you.
Well, it's just an interpretation of me. It was
Well,
sort
that's
of
what I'm
me.
saying.
When I went to the
Yeah.
Redwoods, I had a dream to go there since I was like 8 years old. For some reason, I
Where
saw
is this?
the Redwoods. So I saw a picture of it in a book, and I wanted to go there. When I went there, I instantly began crying. It was just 2 years ago, and
Yeah.
I was surrounded by so much beauty. And honestly, I was like, when I die, this is where I want to be. You know, like I had
That
this
says a lot.
intense feeling. Yeah, it was so beautiful, and so I made that out of my own memory, but it was based on that experience of how she's kind of turning into the ground. Well, that was sold anyway, so. But yeah. This one.
I have a
wasn't-
feeling that these prints that have been sold, without offending, you probably didn't get what you should have gotten. So,
Probably.
yeah, come here real quick. You've met Jeremy. You haven't met Jeremy. Manages. I want you to check this out. This is Rebecca, and this is Jeremy comes up here just to get himself on camera every now and then. But no, I'm going to show you. I'm going to get you her page. Her artwork. I'm just absolutely blown away. This is the first time I'm seeing her website.
Well, this was for USA Today. That was not. I didn't choose that subject matter for that one, but I did create the whole image. So.
Oh my goodness.
But that's a self-portrait in my old apartment. I took the photo end of the beginning.
It's just, how would you describe this art or visual?
What's your medium that you paint?
Yeah.
I'll take anything and everything. Like, I'll just, if I'm out of something, I'll improvise.
Mm.
I've even done I've even used henna for like a dye when I was out of stock. Like, I'll just, I guess I'm like the anti-role person. Like, because
You're
in
the
art, they,
Rebecca of Anarchy.
Yeah.
exactly. Like, I'm like, I know there's rules, but I kind of just. So, I mean, a lot of it is acrylic. Some of it's pen, some of it's charcoal, some of it's marker, some of it's
Look
ink.
at that.
That's really amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, I even used a highlighter.
That is really
good. God.
But that was when I was mad, and that was my mad sketch.
Well, that's a nice segue. What's your moments of go-to when I mean, do you need something? You're good.
No, I was just.
I meant. Do you need anything to drink? No? Okay. We're good. Thanks, bro. What's your can you paint in different moods? I mean, obviously that's your anger, right? Why were you angry? Do you know why?
That was when I was doing the series, and I just couldn't get it right.
Okay.
And I was like, if I did this on my own, this is how it would look. Because when you're doing a commission or something for someone else, you have to follow a guideline. But yeah, like stuff like this, that's out of my head, and that I don't even know.
That I can interpret. This out of your head. What the hell are you? What kind of dreams do you have? I'm trying to visualize this. I love the color.
There's a lot of detail if you zoom
It
in,
is.
actually, but
I mean, and I see people.
Mm-hmm.
It's so different, yet it's very alluring. I mean, I'm lost in it because I'm trying to figure out what the fuck is going on here in a good way.
Me too. No, I don't know.
But here's what's blowing my mind. Unless I'm just so naive to the art game, you're telling me that this was just in your head, and that's you're putting thoughts or
I didn't think that was the whole thing.
And you just start doing this.
Mm-hmm.
There's no rhyme or reason here.
No, this all came out of not thinking.
So, this honestly could be interpreted 1,000 ways, and they all could be right, because you don't know what's right per se, right?
It's literally like stream of consciousness.
I like that. That's
Sometimes I can paint with intention, but like I was saying, when I began painting, I was too fragile. I couldn't handle anyone telling me good or bad. Either way, I'm just don't say anything. If you think it's good, don't think. But now I'm to the point where it's I don't care. I know and I accept the fact that some people and a lot of people might not like my art, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with rejection. I'm okay with all these things now. But it took me to this slow process to get to the point where I'm
right.
okay.
So you're at a comfort level.
I'm at
right
a comfort now where I'm
Okay.
this is what it is, and I can handle it if you don't like it.
2 years ago, you'd say "fuck you," but now you're like,
2 years
whatever.
ago, it's
yeah. All right.
Don't tell me good or bad.
Now this one here, and I'm going to share the link, and you all can check out these images on our website. But that one kind of looks. Is this alien? What's going on there? What do you think? They're right here.
To me, it looks like an alien.
Do you think or not?
Yeah, it does. Totally.
Yeah, but to you, what was it, or what is it? Do you know?
I don't. Honestly, I just.
See, and I think in some crazy way that's cool that you don't even know what you put out there. It's just.
It came from my mind.
Yeah.
That's all I can say is that I don't even know why this character is out clear. Nothing.
What do you do? You like? Do you take Ambien at night? I'm trying to figure out how your mind works at night.
No, people ask if I not that I don't care if people smoke weed or anything, but people ask if I smoke
hallucinogens, anything
no,
like that?
I can't.
Okay.
I can't smoke weed. I can't do hallucinogens. I
Wait,
can't do anything.
You can't. Why can't you?
Because it makes me panic, kind of.
Okay. I'll share something with you. I've never done hallucinogens.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to soon because in podcasting and stuff, I like to share, just have conversations about anything and everything. I want to have that experience in a very controlled environment and talk about it. Now, granted, people tell me, well, they're like, well, where are you going to do this? I'm like, my apartment, my place. Well, no, that's third floor, Kevin. You might think you will fly. You might land.
Right.
No, I mean, I'm thinking, is it going to be to that extreme? But anyways.
Yeah. It's definitely different.
Yeah.
That's the thing about it.
Because you know?
Oh, yeah. I mean, because,
You don't have to tell.
yeah, I mean, things that are hallucinogenic here. Aren't necessarily the same as in California.
Mm,
At Coachella
yeah.
when
Yeah,
Prince
there
is
you go.
there, but
This might be the most obvious picture.
well, that was a literal subject that I was
That was okay.
painting. That was my first time painting
How
a horse.
did he stand still that long?
No, I did it for
I kid.
Oh, okay.
He's calling. Do you need to answer that?
No,
You can share that conversation right now. I'm a fan, huge fan, even more of a fan. I got stuff I would see on your Facebook page, very good, very
I painted
interesting.
those with my feet, but no one knows that. But now everyone knows that. Anyways,
Really?
Yeah.
Like this, and
These.
those three. Not if you painted that one with your foot. I'm like,
No, that one's a little intense, and I feel
what
like
is the story here? Is this were you at a swing club or convention? What's going on here? Rebecca?
No, actually, all of that literally came to my mind, and I'm not kidding. I didn't experience
This one here looks like potentially
It does.
straddling.
But also look around it. I feel like this is really this one's intense, isn't it?
This one, I like this one. You sold these.
Yes.
Where's your do you have like a main person who
Those are the ones that aren't sold yet. So I'm actually working on trying to figure out how to make things more easily updatable on this website. I'm not really like photographing art is a whole.
do you
different-
I know you sign it. Do you have to put like a watermark on these to keep it from people stealing them or anything?
I don't know. If they have, I've never done a good enough search. But I do my signature, which is basically my first and last initial in the year that it was made. But then I sign.
Someone can cut that out, and I'm just for you. I'm like, is
I have
it
a
possible that
digital
people
trail.
rip? You do? Yeah,
mean,
that's true.
if-
But that's going through the lines of proving you'd have to through that headache. But I guess ultimately,
Yeah.
it hasn't.
Hasn't
you
came
haven't-
up. Yeah, I haven't.
Uh,
That's like a new thing that I've not yet thought about.
no.
This is actually one of my favorites and
yeah.
one of people's least favorites I found for
Wow.
some reason. So it's interesting to me what people like and what I
Narrate
like.
this picture for me. What is this?
Well, it's slightly different because I went back and added some things. I just like it. I feel like there's characters and it draws me to it for some reason. And so I was actually putting it for sale for a long time, and then I've updated some things and I made the colors more clear, and in my opinion made it a little bit more intense and better. And now I'm to the point where I'm like, I don't think I want to sell this in. You know, it was one of my top favorites. So
Well, that's one of my next questions. Throw at you is there how much of your artwork that you have that is not up for sale?
I probably have about 3 or 4 paintings that are not for sale. Maybe more. Like sometimes if it sits with me for a bit, I'm like, well, if no one else can appreciate it, I know, because it might be one of my favorite pieces. This is actually going to be a series of 5, but not all in that style. But yeah, so it's, if it sits with me for a moment, I start to sometimes I'll be like, well, I love this one, so no one else wanted it. Going to keep it. But there are a couple.
These are fucking amazing. And they're all so different, which means what the hell kind of shit is noodling in your head?
I don't know, because yesterday I was sketching and I was like, wait a minute, because yesterday I made a sketch of trees. I took a photo when I was in the park the other day. This one has henna on the dye, and it also has gold in there.
make sure that those colors are the same colors as.
The actual painting.
Well, I'm going kind of school here, University of Michigan. Their colors are blue and or maize and what is that? Anyways, you got to figure out how to promote that on through the University of Michigan, and then this will blow up. This will blow up. I'm telling you.
See, it's funny because I had a meeting with someone a few months ago, and they were like, "You literally don't pay attention to like the rules of like this color, like this would remind you of McDonald's."
I mean, is there? I mean, are you breaking the rules? Is that? And I'm thinking is like.
I don't know. I just like one time I was like, I think this way.
Clearly,
yeah,
you're a person that colors outside the line.
Yeah, so I'm like, I don't know. I just do what draws me to it at the moment.
Well, I'm throwing my name in the hat right now. Need a manager. I'm just saying. I'm telling you. I'm seriously. People, when you see her website and you go to her Facebook page and you see this work, hit me up and tell me if I'm wrong. But this is just. I mean, it's so different. I'm going to share this with all of my friends and who are into arts and stuff.
See, I feel like I need to keep my website up to date.
Probably.
Yes.
Do you do it yourself? Somebody else does.
Well, photographing. Like this is what I was talking about. Like those are two different sketches. Like they're completely different.
Yeah, I need to make sure I follow you on Instagram as well.
But yeah, I mean, it's different. I just finished an oil painting today. And but I haven't posted that one yet. But this one drove me crazy. Literally crazy.
Is this like a alter ego thing, or is this two different people, or is it the same person but two?
So that's what my thoughts started going.
Yeah.
Originally, honestly, it was a yin yang type of
that
thing.
kind of
But then it changed, so I don't.
Wonder Twin powers activated. You probably didn't even know
and
that.
I tried to
cartoon,
use like a Cezanne or whatever photo. I did a still life with the still life in the background, so I hung it outside and then I put the pot there. I did that one last night when I was like kind of bored. So, but I put a tomato in it with a bunch of fruit. I don't know why, but anyways, it was just something.
I'm sure for you it'll work.
For me, it was fun.
Well, I'm tooting your horn, and now I'm going to be tooting it. From this point on, I'm a fan. I love it.
Well, thank you.
You on your Facebook page, or excuse me, on your website, it says the artist. My art is ever evolving. But tell me about who the artist is today. Who are you today? Catch me off guard a little bit. Who are you? I mean, you've done the relationship thing and out of town. Lots of living and learning.
Yeah.
You know, that's trial and error. It's hit and miss. But where are you? Who are you today?
I've had a weird year, honestly. Like, I've had a strange year of reflection and, like, understanding things that I never understood before, whether it's, like, personal life or different things about my past. And so this year, like, I kind of just, I guess I'm at the point where I'm exploring, and I realized that new experiences, which I've always loved, is what inspires me, you know, and moments that I see that, like, you know, writers will write about a moment. Well, these moments get stored away in, like, my mind and stuff. So I've been trying to, I've been traveling. I've made it, like, my goal. Like, I've waited so long to do this, to put myself in there. And I found that, like, so many things that I thought about the world are different. You know what I mean? And so I guess this year's been sort of, it's been difficult with a lot of realizations about things that I haven't known, and a lot of trying to sort through my own stuff. But
Okay.
also it's been exploring, and it's been like a new, I feel like almost to the point where it's a new stage. I'm opening myself to things that I maybe wasn't.
Do you think some of this in your work now is stuff that's just been stored, like, for years or from your existence, and then
Most likely.
I pulled this little pulled this up. Some people, there's a thing called hypnotic regression, and in some kind of crazy way, I kind of thinking this is what you're doing. You're going back, recalling a lot of your, I guess, moments in the past, and it's just coming out in a very eclectic.
So is it in? You're really good at this,
Yeah,
actually,
yeah,
because
yeah.
I didn't think about that at all until this year.
Look that up,
Until this year.
because
And I'm a
you know,
psychology major.
unless I could
No,
be off,
actually-
but I think you're. I mean, I think we all do. We all obviously have a lot of shit that's baggage or whatever in
Yeah.
our past, in our head, and our soul, and something. My thing is that every day, I think it's fucking healthy that we laugh,
Yes.
we cry,
Oh yeah.
do everything you can to get some type of an emotional reaction, and some of that could be purging shit that has been built up, and I see that. I think what I'm now looking at, the more I'm listening to you and talking to you about your past and who you are, it's all coming out in your art.
Yeah,
And that's
I only recently, like, it's funny that you called that after looking at it, but I only recently came to that realization that it could be,
You're telling your story.
yeah,
I
some
mean,
weird,
you're
messed up
here's
way.
you're telling the story that you didn't even. That's obviously it's not been properly in your head. I mean, it's just like. And I'm gonna ask this again. When you do any of this, you're not under any type of influence.
No.
Not just no. I'm not challenging. I'm just thinking. I don't know. You're
Yeah,
on to
like,
something.
I will paint, like, at the moment I wake up, I can start painting right away. I'll start painting and I'll get into like a trance about it. I mean, I'm like, no one talk to me because I'm like, I can't talk because I'm like doing stuff constantly. I have like 20 different things going on at once, and yeah.
I'm telling you right now, my gut, whether it's happening now, it's going to happen down the road. Your source of income, your lifestyle is going to be because of this work. I'm telling you right now, there is something that is just, I guess what's funny is that you don't have an answer to it though, but you know it's somewhere in here.
Yeah.
It's somewhere in here, and this is your way of purging you, and but I guess I don't care after you finish some work or whatever art. Is there ever time where you like I kind of feel better, or do you feel like it? Do you?
Definitely.
And I get that.
Yeah, and like I feel like people, even though like they take their own interpretation from it, and so like I've had a few people write me and say like, that they appreciated that I put a certain amount of vulnerability out there, like, because sometimes I'll do a sketch when I'm mad and I'll like write things, and I did a lot of reading when I was a kid, and so I have many quotes that are just there, so I'll put a quote with something, and hearing that feedback is nice as well, because even though like I don't have, like, maybe at that moment what I was thinking is different from what they interpreted, but it meant something to them, and what they, like, getting that feedback is nice.
That's interesting you say that, because the thing is that, well, like I was saying, my interpretation, anyone else's, because the fact that you don't per se have your own interpretation of what it could be, whatever they want it to be, and if they connect with it, then that becomes a part of them. That could be a story for them. That could be an answer for them. Shit that's been, questions that have been lingering in their head. Some image might trigger an answer, and that's cool.
Yeah, and like sometimes I will think of a memory, but it will come out differently. So I mean, there is the occasional time where I'll have a memory, but it won't.
Can I ask about your family? I mean, are you close with your family, or?
Yes.
Okay.
My family it's kind of a mix, like so, my parents have been divorced and remarried, and previous
So
marriages.
a normal,
Essentially,
yeah.
So same with my grandparents and the grandparents before them. So I found that sometimes family like isn't necessarily always who you're born with, like who I viewed as my grandpa. It was not related to me. And like certain things like that.
Well, that's kind of where I was going with the more biological part, and we don't have to talk about that. But my sense is that there's. We'll go back. I'll let that go.
I just come from a nice mixture of.
And the bottom line is, it's all we're all who we are, who we're around, and who we're a product of our environment, and the people who are there to support us and taking care of us.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, like I didn't have TV.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
Yeah.
No. What's next? What's next for you?
So I think I'm traveling as much as I possibly can.
We got to touch on that real quick. I know I'm getting close to my next little recording, but you mentioned before going to New York, experiencing that, which is the most diverse. It's the epitome of a little of everything.
Right.
What was that experience like?
Well, actually, the first time I went, I was like 8 years old.
Yeah.
And you can't cuss on this thing,
Yeah, you
right?
can.
Okay.
Speak
Well,
freely.
anyways, like I was 8 years old the first time I went. We went to visit my cousins, and it was the first time I ever got called a bitch. But it wasn't the last time.
But did you know that word at 8?
No, I did know it,
Okay.
but I was just like, it was an older woman who was roller skating near Central Park, and I was probably being a wild and crazy kid.
You were in her way.
I was in her way, but in my mind, she ran into me and called me a bitch. And then I was just like crying, and then but I've been back to New York like probably 5 times since then.
Looking for her ever since.
Yeah, I'm gonna chase her down.
I'm gonna take her out. I'm gonna take her knee out.
But I mean, I went back in April.
If you go there with a baseball bat or something, where people are skating, they're probably gonna be a little nervous.
Yeah. But I found that my experience when I went back this April for the first time, and I've went back like 4 or 5 times since then. I'm addicted. I love the city. Like I walk around and I'm just in.
I can imagine
absolute
for an
love.
artist, for you, that is within the 352, the Mecca.
Ugh.
I mean, it's the
Yeah. You
so-
can literally I walked more than 10 miles to city
Right.
blocks the last time I was there.
and
which was
you're
last week.
engaged in that whole 10 miles.
And I was
yeah.
in bliss. I was in bliss because it's this strange mixture of like there's literally poverty, and then you've got a multi-millionaire walking next to you,
Right.
and you pass the building. That there's just this weird mix where like everyone is just who they are, and that's all accepted. Like you're just like you don't think twice about it. Like I can walk down there. No one's wondering, no one's thinking about this, thinking about that. Like they're just like I can just walk, and I'm just there, and I belong because I'm there, and because I'm with this like group of people that everyone is all from different places, different backgrounds, different.
Is that
It's freeing. It's like refreshing.
is visiting enough, or
I
do you
don't-
feel like you need to move?
Like I unintentionally fell in love with you. Damn it,
But you know. I mean,
I know it's expensive.
It's very
I know.
expensive. It's the whole, but it obviously. I mean, if your goals, your aspirations, if you feel like that is where you have to be to.
I'm
to-
fighting
yeah.
that's where I have to be, but every time I go, I keep going.
But
I
it would
fall
be-
more and more in love, and I'm
sure, yeah.
I don't care if I live in a tiny space. I don't need many things. I've
Yeah.
lived in apartments my entire life until now. Right now, I'm in a house and it's huge, and it's weird having a big space. But I'm I don't care if I have to get rid of everything. Live in a tiny cramped place.
It's a great place to visit.
Everyone always
It's
says
cheaper
it's a great,
here.
But everyone always says it's a great place to visit, but not a place to live. And I'm I want to live here.
But it's obviously there's a few million people there that would agree with you on that to live there. So.
Yeah.
That's cool. All right, winding down real quick. I do this little rapid fire thing that I call round of shots.
Oh my
Play
gosh.
along.
Okay.
It'll be fun.
Okay.
First concert with you at your age, some probably boy band.
Actually, when I was a kid, I don't remember, but I do remember going to Tom Petty.
Tom Petty.
And then
oh,
Bob.
wow.
I did see Bob Dylan. I remember those two.
No shit. Are you serious?
Yes.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
yes.
Yeah, I would not have thought that.
Yeah,
I like
I
that.
did. Those are
Well,
probably
you know
first-
what? Now that I'm starting to know you more, I'm starting to, yeah. That's,
Yeah.
I like that.
I
But
never
that-
saw a boy band in
yeah.
concert, for the record.
and,
But
and still don't, just for the record.
I don't think they exist anymore.
In some degrees, but yeah, I heard the Jonas Brothers getting back together, but that's only because I saw it on every freaking social media post out there because it's supposedly a big deal. But anyway. If you had a superpower, what would it be?
Probably to
Thanks, my
fly
brother.
or to go anywhere that I want, whenever I want. I'd like that,
Yeah.
honestly. I know it sounds simple, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to live forever. I just want to be able to see everything that I can.
No offense, you're not.
I know, but I mean, if you had to choose a superpower,
you
You could choose that,
I guess
but-
okay. Fair enough. That's a good point. If you were stuck in an elevator with a celebrity, who would it be?
they have to be alive.
Alive or dead?
Stuck in an elevator for how long? You're wait, this is rapid fire. I
Yeah.
don't. Modern day celebrities.
Any celebrity.
Oh God.
God?
I mean, gosh, I don't.
Oh, go ahead. God or gosh? You want to be
Who's
there
a
with?
famous celebrity nowadays? I don't know. I suck at pop culture.
It can
but-
be anybody. Who is someone you connected with back in the day? Celebrity.
Like a movie star?
It's your freaking elevator. Movie star, art. I'm gonna just stick you with Van Gogh or something like that.
Yeah, you could put me and Van Gogh in the elevator together. I bet we would have a good old time.
Actually, I would probably put you with Satan.
Hey!
Pet peeve.
People being like,
Podcasters asking you questions. Annoying question.
no, I guess just like people being like, well, you don't know this and you don't know that, and let me explain this to you and let me explain that. I'm like, wait, but it's because I'm a woman and I'm a whatever, and everyone has to explain everything to me.
I bet you
because
we could have probably dabbed into #Me2 with you, couldn't we?
yeah, put that one in there.
So, stay tuned for part 2 with Rebecca. That'll be coming up down the road. Yeah, we didn't get to talk trending stuff. We were running out of time, but I think I dig your personality. I think I'm gonna when you come back, we'll get a recap on or get an update with your art. But we're gonna talk non-art stuff.
Oh,
Okay.
I got a lot of thoughts on that.
Good. All right, so what's the question? Or did you answer the question?
I think you said that you would stick me in the elevator thing, go.
Yeah, that go.
And I was like, okay. Done.
No, I said pet peeve. What'd you say?
Oh, I guess the whole like, I know everything more than you. And it's like even like when it comes to things that I literally have studied for so long, it'll be like, no, like psychology, for example.
Got
Like
it.
I've only taken like a million. People be like, whoa, like explain like the very basic class. I'm like, you know, like, okay.
Do you realize how more relaxed you've gotten now than you when you first arrived?
Well, for one, I tripped up the stairs.
I saw that. I'm going to put that on blast. But,
And for two, I was literally running because I didn't know. I've never been here before. But yeah.
Fair enough. All right. Let's see. What's next? If you had access to a time machine and could go anywhere in the past to observe, not to change, to observe, where would you go?
Okay, instantly, not to change, okay. I was going to say instantly, if I wanted to go back to a time where it would have been really popular, it would have been like the pre-Raphaelite art time when they like loved redheads and use them for art and stuff, and then I'd just be like...
Your hair is badass, man. Is it colored? That's not natural. Is it natural?
Yeah, I'm a natural redhead, but it is, I'm on my way of working my way back to my natural color.
Not that I just blasted your...
No, I am. You want to see my kid picture?
Let's see it.
But
Go ahead.
yeah, so like, if I wanted to be really popular then I would go then. Because when I was growing up, it was like the anti-me. Everyone's like, you're white as a ghost. Like, you're a redhead, gross.
No,
Like,
you're
but if it were to be like in general, probably maybe back at the beginning of time.
like with dinosaurs, or
Well,
the
not
infamous story where God created Adam and Eve, or what?
Actually, no. I don't think I'd want to go. Do I have to live there forever?
You're observing.
Oh, I'm just watching.
Yeah, you'll come back. My
So I'm
budget
not gonna
allows
get
you
their
to.
disease
My
or
budget
their
allows you to
plagues
come back.
or
No, you're free because you
anything.
can't bring that shit back either. Because
I would observe anytime. Anytime. If you put me in any time, I'd be like, thank you for putting me in this time to observe it.
well, that narrows it down.
Okay, let's just say, like, I would observe. Freaking. What happened in the 1600s? Let's just say 1600s.
All right, 1600.
I don't
All right,
know.
here's the last three. These are the last three. The first two are yes or no, and the last one I need you to give me a one-sentence answer. These are what I think are the most important questions. Three of the most important questions in the world.
Okay, wait. Yes or no is the answer for
First
these
two.
three?
Yeah, all right. Just the first one is a yes or no. Of these three, the first one's yes or no, and these were again what I think are the three most important questions ever.
First
One,
three, yes or no. Okay.
is there a God?
My opinion is...
No, I don't. Well, you're.
Well, I
guess
can't
Yes,
say-
it's yes or no. To you, it's yes or no.
For me in my life, there's not.
Okay. Kind of on board with you there, too, for the record. Two, are we alone in the universe?
Like, you
Yes
and
or no?
I, or human beings?
human beings.
There you go. Natural red hood.
Aw, little pumpkin.
Punkhead.
Pumpkin. Pumpkin. Like pumpkin. God. Put your phone down. All right, last one. Are we alone in the universe? Is there life outside of this planet?
Probably, definitely, yeah.
Okay, so
there's
yes.
an infinite. I mean, the universe. I mean, the thing out there. We don't know anything about it, so yeah, probably.
We're learning.
Why wouldn't we? I mean, why wouldn't there
I'm asking the questions here, don't you? All right, third, last one. One sentence response. What happens when we die?
I think we either go into the ground or be cremated, and then we are relieved from the life that we've lived, and hopefully we enjoyed each day that we had.
Heaven, or that's what I'm getting at. No heaven, or do you think at the time of death?
I think we're just it's just a relief, and we've
done.
enjoyed our time here, and we did the best we could.
So you bring up a good point. Like I'm with you on that. So again, live fucking life every day. Live it to the extreme.
Exactly.
Enjoy it.
I think heaven is a kind of this is but there's nothing wrong with that.
No,
It's just,
people can believe what they want to believe.
yeah. I mean, ultimately, like, yeah, your grandparents, parents, or whoever you want to trigger, like, they, to a certain extent, their words and their stuff might appeal to you and feel like they're still alive through you. So it's not all dead and, like, whatever, but they themselves, like, they're at rest. They're at peace. They're gone. I mean,
Well said.
is that really gothic? Is that like too dark?
No, we're fine. We're good.
I am trying to enjoy my time in life when I still have it.
Real quick, this one thing I have to throw at you. You use apps on your phone, right?
Do I?
Yes. or
Oh
no?
yeah, yes.
There's an app on because you were on Apple News and I get Apple News on my phone too as well. There's every day there's this thing that shows you free apps. And there's an app that people with 5% or less battery. There's a hashtag. You go on this app and it's called Die Together, where you get to hang out with people who have just that much percentage left, and you chat it up with them until your phone dies.
That's
and I'm thinking,
awesome.
is it? It sounds like fucking morbid. It's like, good God, it's what is that? Like you're gonna.
I think it's cool. I try to avoid my phone dying,
Same.
but
With
at
a
the same time,
charger and everything.
if there's an app where you're like, any second my conversation's been cut out, so that you're like, I don't know. I think it's cool.
Rebecca, tell everybody how they can connect with you on social media and your website.
Okay, so I'm pretty simple. It's just my first and last name. I don't vary from that.
No, the website has art, though. Just saying. Your
But I
name
think if you type my name and .com, it redirects to art.
Oh.
But
But it does say art on the.
yes.
Okay.
So it's my first and last name. If you can spell my last name, you're good.
Yeah.
And then it's the same for Instagram, Facebook, everything else that exists. Even my email is my first and last name @gmail.com. Should I spell my last name?
No, it'll be out there.
Okay.
I'll have it. Tag you. Rebecca, thanks for hanging out with me.
Well, thank you so much.
You
I had fun.
You smiled a lot more during the last half of this podcast than the first part.
I did.
I do. You did. You do. Very pretty smile.
Oh.
Good stuff. Her fucking art is fucking amazing. You'll see all the links. Support her. Give her some props. Let her know. Let me know what you think, because I'm usually right. And if I'm wrong here, then just say it. But anyways, it's good stuff.
All right.
I hope you enjoyed
thank
this.
you.
We'll do it again.
So good.
Let's
do it.
Let's do it. And then we'll
Pop
culture.
culture trends.